Well, the day had went by. People came in, people went out. I worked and I kept watching out the window when I could, but there were people in all day, but nobody that I didn't already know. And then it was towards the end of the day, I heard something outside the door once again. But this time I was pretty sure it wasn't the Christ. Because what I heard was yelling and screaming and hollering and such. And I went to the window to see what in the world was going on. And I looked out, and there was Granny Denovich. And a little boy, about 10 years old. And she had the boy by the ear. And I looked out there, and I thought she was going to pull it off. And so I went to the door, and I opened the door, and I says, Granny, what are you doing? You must stop that. You're going to hurt the boy. And she looked at me, she says, good, I intend to. And I said, well, Granny, what has he done? And she says, he was trying to steal one of the apples out of my basket. And I looked at the boy, and I says, is this so? And he started to nod, and then he thought better of it. And he says, oh, yes, sir, I did. He says, I was hungry. And I looked at him, and I says, well, hungry you may be, but that is no excuse for stealing. And so, I took a coin out of my pocket. I said to Granny, I says, Granny, here is a coin. This will buy one of your apples, will it not? And she says, yes. So I gave her the coin, and she gave me the apple, and I held the apple out to the boy, and I says, now, young man, this apple is for you as soon as you apologize to Granny Denovich. And he says, oh, yes, sir. And he did. He apologized, and then he says to Granny, I would like to make it up to you. If I may, I'll help you carry your packages home. And she looked at him like she didn't trust him. But then she says, okay. So I gave him the apple, and I watched as they headed down the street. And they just looked so happy together. And it was so cute watching the boy help Granny. And as they were going down the street, I heard Granny getting into one of her long, long stories about when she was a little girl growing up in our village. And I had to smile, and I was watching them go. But then, my smile fades, because I look and I see that the sun, it is setting, and the day, it is gone. And I tried to watch all day. All day I've been trying to watch, but the Christ, he has not come. As the voice said, I watched from morning to night. I did the best that I could, but I had not seen him. So I sat down to have my evening bread and tea, and there was the book in front of me, mocking me. Maybe I hadn't really heard the voice. Maybe I'm an old fool. And as I sat there thinking of this time I know I was not dreaming. This time. For suddenly I heard behind me the voice again saying, Martin, do you not know me? And I turned, and there standing by the fire was Emil. And he says, Martin, it is I. Oh. And then over here I heard the voice again. It says, Martin, do you not know me? And I turned and looked, and there was a young woman with her child, dressed warmly and smiling. And they said, Martin, it is I. And then by the door I hear the voice again. Martin, do you not know me? And I look, and there's Granny Denovich and the young boy. And they're smiling at me and said, Martin, it is I. Oh. And I bowed my head in wonder. And my eyes were drawn to the book again. And off the pages of the great book leapt these words. I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. Inasmuch as you have done it unto the least of these, you have done it unto me.